The beautiful lights of these cities just makes me want to visit the entire of China. It really does. I'm such a sucker for lights. But of course, Team WE in our first series of the day officially, mathematically taking down Vici. They're out of playoff contention.
Unfortunately for Vici, this is going to be the second split in a row. Actually, more than that. But for all of 2019, unable to make it into playoffs. They are a relatively new roster. They did a lot of changes with it. Only Puff in their bot lane basically remained from the ashes of 2018, I should say. So we wish them good luck and wish they continue to grow. But we're moving on to Hangzhou, where you just saw the beautiful lights of the city. And we're going to go into LGD versus DMO.
LGD versus DMO. Of course, we got to talk about LGD. We've been doing a lot of swapping, a lot of changing. We got badeMan coming in the jungle. We also have a new top laner coming in, Garvey. You know, like, I'm thinking they're really looking towards the future. I think they're also kind of resigning themselves to coming in. As you can see, Lies out, Garvey in.
Yeah, so a lot of interesting changes in LGD land. Of course, the big thing that happened in their split, there was multiple players were banned on the roster. Of course, their starting lineup, jungler Kandi, receiving a very long ban for prior scandals. And ever since then, they haven't been able to win a match. So it's been a 5-match losing streak for them so far. It's time for some changes. Garvey in from his match history. He did usually play for VP Gaming in the LDL, which is their sister team. They're basically B Academy team. And he did play a lot of Irelia outside of the usual champions that Lies did play in the Nico and the Hecarim. So interesting flavors here. Might see a little bit more of the split pushing potential. And Irelia is also Yuuki's favorite champion. So it could be a lot of swaps between them.
A lot of swaps, a lot of flexes, but he is going up against DMO. When we talk DMO, you gotta talk about Natural. This guy, he's had some pretty good series recently. He's looking pretty damn strong in this top side.
4 wins and 2 losses after he joined the team. And before that, DMO had a total of 4 wins. He's basically made it up for it entirely. Great KDA, #1 in terms of kills per game, and also #2 in damage share, just below the Shy. This guy is a 4-1 split pusher to the core. His best champions in his OMG days, which you might remember, Ale, was Fiora. He's still playing him, and also the Jax as well. Great Akali to boot in the top side. This is definitely the strongest lane that DMO now have.
And DMO, of course, kind of taking a couple of wins that we didn't really expect them to take. They took down JDG, they beat Rogue Warriors there 2 days ago. These are kind of the small little wins. All of a sudden, you know, they're 3 wins. They have a couple of, you know, a bit of momentum behind them. We can see them kind of like taking, I think JDG was definitely the biggest scalp that they had so far.
Yes.
And, you know, even if they lose this one, they're not out of playoffs as of yet, and the run, the potential of the run is still very much there, but it's almost even smaller now because of the fact that Team WE have won and other teams have started to kind of like create that gap from the bottom to the top.
It's a very hard road for these teams, but the chances are definitely there, and we're going to come into the Hangzhou Arena where DMO are going to be the guest team here, always figuring out their seats. I love it when teams go into new arenas. They never could get it right on the first try.
Yeah, it's unfortunate the way, very funny sometimes, but you can see there is the full lineup as both are the team DMO. They're looking to try and kind of capitalize. You know, a pretty solid season so far. You know, a lot of people maybe kind of underestimate them as they go into games. We've seen a lot of their games, they lose the first and they win the second and then they go towards the third. Have noticed a trend though that we stream their first 2 games and then we leave their third one and they win. It's like a LPL Schrödinger's match. It's like, you know, they won or they lost. We don't know yet, but you know what? They won.
We'll tell you later.
We'll tell you later. We'll just give you the results.
Looking at LGD's starting lineup, of course, we mentioned Garvey as the new man in, and also badeMan, their new jungler that played last time, Xin Zhao and Jarvan main, plus Yuuki, who must be quite happy that he's going to have another Irelia Fnatic on his team.
Yeah. I don't know why. As soon as you said Fnatic, I got immediately confused.
You got triggered?
Yeah, I wasn't triggered. I was just kind of like, what is he talking about with Fnatic? I'm not quite sure where this is going. And then
not in EU anymore.
Yeah. It's hard to avoid that. But Yes, I think, badeMan coming in, had a great first game, got MVP. I would love to see the statistics of who in the LPL has ever done that, on their first game, gotten the man of the match. Not something easily done. Didn't win that series, unfortunately, but, still getting that, so showing some promise as well. So, Garvey, definitely going to be, look towards him to try and see. Very young player, 17 years of age, has a lot of potential. LGD, or LGD, excuse me, are able to, like, to me, again, this just strikes me as we need to rebuild our roster. We need to look towards 2020.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that they need to change on this team. A lot of functions that really aren't there. I think jungler is a massive position that LGD have been lacking. So far in their recent games, we've seen general focus once again on Kramer, your main AD carry. We talked about on the hyper carry. If you like that Jinx from the WE series, he is also a Jinx player. So if you like hyper carries, that's pretty much what they have been going into. Now, personally, I think LGD's biggest advantage over DMO, and the reason I kind of went with them this series, is because of Yuuki and his laning strength. I think he's mechanically a better player than Twila, and if he can keep the mid lane down, it also shuts down Xiaopeng. We had a face-to-face with Xiaopeng, a long sit-down, and what Xiaopeng does is he loves playing around pushing mid laners. He wants to go into the enemy jungle, find fights that way, but if Yuuki can find his footing in this mid lane, I think it takes a lot of that power away from it. We're still waiting from Yuuki to bring out that Kiana. It should fit his playstyle. He was known as an AD carry assassin player, so I want to see if he can bring it out finally this series and have him on a good performance.
And LGD, like, beloved throughout all arenas, and, everyone got to chant for them. So now my question is, what's the third chant going to be today? Because we don't know.
Yeah, have you not been listening? OMG has been slowly creeping up the standings. It's like, you know what? LGD is actually not that bad anymore.
Yeah, we got to pick another team. What about the Vici love? Where's the Vici love? They're literally bottom of the table.
I know, but they've been, they've actually been somewhat successful recently. Like, they've actually made playoffs closer than LGD have. Fun fact.
That's fair. That is fair. They haven't made playoffs, but they made it a lot closer in the standings. They were a lot higher up.
They were more recently in playoffs compared to LGD. Ooh. LGD is the true meme-tastic team.
We'll have to see now. I'm curious to see what the third and final chance, if there is even one.
LGD games are just so fun to watch. They just beat the most random teams in the world. It's like RNG, whatever.
其实是一个风格挺全面的中单吧。他玩一些就像刺客型的英雄会玩得很凶，然后玩一些沙皇这种英雄会玩得很稳，就算是一个很不错的中单吧。
And we see Yuuki showing respect, showing he's done his research, knows how his player or how his teammate's going to respond. Is that a napkin over his mouse?
A lot of players do that, actually.
Really?
They get sweaty.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. I suppose that's very fair. I would just get really confused if I ever had to use scroll wheel or something like that. Just go like, oh no.
Yuuki 这名选手，他的进攻性比较强嘛，然后玩的刺客英雄比较多，然后就团队需要他站出去打架的时候，他也能站得出来。
Again, DMO showing them to know, like you said, the way LGD do win is through Yuuki in that mid lane. Very mechanically, gifted. Obviously plays a lot of assassins, as we saw in the interview. But also what I liked as well is that they see him as the guy that when LGD needs someone to step up, he steps up.
Yeah, Yuuki was the big addition to the new LGD lineup. He was known on Korean solo queue ladder for a long time, reaching over 1,000 challenger points and finally taking over the starting position over Zunan in that period. And also for both of these players, Azir has been a top priority pick. We've seen a lot of LGD comps try to trend towards the late game, with Kramer being the main damage dealer and kind of Azir backing him up, creating that mid-line mage potential. So there's two possible ways that this mid lane could go. One is, both sides just go for something safe. They let their AD carries grow up in the bot lane, see whoever's top lane wins it, and that's the early game and call for a late game. Or the second solution, which is one that I would much prefer to see, is just Yuuki going on an assassin and murdering people early.
Go hard or go home.
Yes. I think it's a huge advantage for LGD in the mid lane, so they should definitely take it.
And we'll see DMO and LGD both on 2 wins and 7 losses. both looking to try and pick up a third today. Tam Kent, Yumi, Silas banned out by DMO, Olaf and Nidalee, funny enough, banned away by LGD.
Oh, you have to take away the Nidalee from Xiaopeng, his favorite champion. The LPL sniper, of course, a better clear speed now. And he also plays at AD as well, very unusual. Now we're seeing the Corki being banned away, and this could be LGD saying, you know what, if we're gonna play the late game, we might as well get all the best champions for that. Azir still on the table.
Azir taken, or sorry, possibility to be taken. We have got the Ezreal locked in though. Looks like badeMan going to be going towards that Gragas. Good early game, good burst potential. We saw it yesterday in the games that sometimes Karsa in that game 1 with the Gragas ultimates was able to literally delete champions. We'll see what DMO wants to respond with. I would like maybe something a little bit more proactive than the Karthus, because if you lock in that Karthus, badeMan has a huge amount of potential to be able to snowball this early game.
Yeah, I don't really like the Karthus versus Gragas matchup. We've seen what happened in this before, yesterday even.
Yeah.
And the Karthus currently in 9.14 hasn't found a single win.
Yep.
Just the early aggression and the ganking potential from other junglers has overtaken that spot. So I like DMO's pivot away from that, taking the Sivir instead and getting lane priority. I think this match, in the LPL at least, is still very much about early lane priority into mid-game team fights. And that's how you snowball these games. Also love the Irelia takeaway, both from Yuuki and Garvey at the same time. That's most likely going to go to natural in the top lane.
Yeah, and Braum almost insta-locked there by LGD, so they got themselves their bot lane. They're feeling pretty good about that. That Kramer pick is also kind of a flex. Can go into the support jungle, or sorry, not the jungle, excuse me, the top or the mid lane. Almost certainly not going into the AD carry, as the Sivir has been locked in like we saw from SMLZ yesterday. But what do LGD want to prioritize in terms of taking away from DMO right now? They've got a lot of options in the jungle they can still start to chip away at.
Taking away the Sejuani is the standard like counter matchup to Gragas. Has great ganking potential, and you can just walk into Gragas' jungle because he's not going to contest you. So that's kind of the stock standard answer here. What I would suspect other from that is just looking at probably some of the safer mages from Twila's position. Like, Twila is a very unique person in that he plays a lot of champions you don't really see in the meta anymore. He played a lot of Lulu this split, which was kind of baffling at the same time, but he usually tries to just push out his lane, so actually not going to go that route, just going to go for the Rek'Sai instead.
Yeah, still a lot of advantages, or sorry, advantages. There's a lot of advantageous junglers that you can take for that early game to contest the Gragas. Again, talked about it a little bit, we won't talk about it again, but Karthus definitely not one of them. Renekton banned away, so that to me kind of strikes as if maybe that karma is going up towards that top side. Kiana banned away. Unfortunately, Yuuki ain't getting his hands on that mid lane assassin.
Yeah, I think everyone, even though he's never showed it, knows the potential of Yuuki. So they're just taking away 80 assassins left and right. Renekton also something that he could have picked up there. The composition LGD is going for looks to be aggressive early. There's great ganking potential in the bot side. Very easy to chain up the stuns with Ezreal Mystic shots and the Braum. And we're going to see an Akali. So, you know what? One of my hopes was not achieved, but Yuki's going to still realize it for me.
When you close a door, you can open a window. And Akali, the newly found Akali, has got some more durability, a little bit more scaling AP, so kind of definitely better in the laning phase, and has just a lot more burst towards the late game. So definitely going to be feeling as if either Yuuki or Garvey takes that one. And Lulu locked in. That's I actually don't even know if that's a Lulu support or if it's a Lulu mid.
It's Lulu mid. I just talked about that, but Twila has been playing a lot of Lulu this split. He plays it mainly for the lane pushing priority, and in 9.14 it actually has a small buff over the Akali now that Akali has lost her op security, so you can't see her with just the pixie on her. So that's going to be something slightly good about the meta. And DMO, they played a lot of Lulu, but I can't really say it's been successful. Actually, Twila has still fallen lane quite often, even with a strong champion like that one. And LGD, it looks like the Akali's actually going to be going towards the top side, and Yuki's trying to think of a counter.
He's looking to see what he can do into this mid lane. Azir handshake, not quite with the Corki as it was banned, but as you said earlier, very first thing you said was to lock in that late game, take up the Azir. And looks like we're going to see exactly where that Lulu and that Karma are going. Do we see
they're still going to swap.
Do you think they're going to swap? Yeah, there it is. And I like what DMO is trying to do. They've obviously got the hyper carry in the Sivir. They've got a lot of very good kind of early laning phase with the Lulu and the Karma, and the also early game with the Lee Sin. But I just look at the sheer amount of damage on LGD, and I'm just like, where do you even start to try and pick away at this from DMO?
DMO have to stay ahead the entire game for this composition to win out. They don't really have team fight potential. I don't think their late game is that powerful compared to LGD. And LGD have the perfect stops in terms of a 5v5. The enemy team is trying to run straight forward at your face. You have a Gragas, you have a Braum, you have Emperor's Divide. It's very easy to counteract the initiation coming in from DMO. So DMO need priority the entire game. They're a chase down composition. They need space for it to work. They need to be the ones taking towers first. In terms of these team standings and how difficult each comp is to execute, I have to give the draft to LGD.
Have to wait and see. You did go for them in the predictions as well as everyone else in terms of the casting team. I personally think DMO have got them in them, but I do think you can definitely turn someone into a ragdoll with this comp from LGD. You've got the Gragas explosive cast, the Azir wall, you've got the Braum glacial fissure, the body slam. You've got so many ways just knocking someone around, so they can't even do anything for about 3 or 4 seconds. So we'll have to wait and see. The only way we will know is when they hit the rift, if buts and everything. But LGD, they need to take this win. They need to take some kind of momentum, because like you said, they're on a pretty bad losing streak right now.
5 matches and counting. Will this be the rebound in Hangzhou? Home court advantage. Bring your own drums, DMO.
There was no third chant. The answer to my question. I actually like as well, like the difference between the stadiums. Like we went to Team WE and they had the arcade stuff shut off, and we come over to LGD's home stadium and they have the arcade stuff turned on. I like those little kind of like characteristic details that you can see.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it isn't actually unified, but oh well.
Yeah. We won't tell League operations, it's fine. In this early game, what do you want to see from both these teams? We'll start with DMO. What does a successful early game look like to them?
Well, I think what they need to do is just show up vision on the bot side. This is a lane where they should have priority throughout, and the worst thing that could happen is just having this bottom lane ganked repeatedly. So I expect DMO, Xiaopeng, just do a standard clear, top to bottom, make sure that Gragas isn't there to influence this lane, and just keep GALA pushing this the entire time. It's actually a very good level 1 from DMO. You can see the early warding. They did catch where Gragas' pathing was, so they do see him on the Krugs heading towards the top side. They will have a good timer on when he's going to come in on his Predator, and with that information, they should be able to avoid the ganks we were talking about.
Lulu is just not someone we see that often at all in any region towards that mid lane. Is it a specific counter to try and stop the Azir with the polymorph, or is it just something that kind of keeps your other carries safe? So
we've seen this Lulu pick blind a lot by Twila, and he just likes it because of how many matchups he can go into. You can pick into the Kiana matchup, which he did previously as well. It's just kind of a catch-all blind pick for him, and this is very characteristic of Twila champions. He plays a lot of just oddball, blind pick, uncounterable, just doesn't interact with you in lane type of champions.
It won't win
Zilean,
lane, but
Aurelian
it won't
Soul,
lose.
Twila, those are not Twila. Zilean, Aurelian Soul, those are Twila champions.
Oh, speaking of early aggression and not losing the lane, we're going to see Garvey and badeMan trying to combo up. Natural has got flash available. He's going to have to try and do it here. He's actually going to walk the complete opposite way. Nice body slam. Garvey picking up first blood in his first game.
Very well done by Garvey. We were asking what would the new guy be able to do. And perfect wave control on that. Really well synced out with badeMan.
And who knew that the guy who has a similar name to Harvey Dent and Batman would combo so well?
Oh my god.
Garvey Dent and badeMan. It's like the knockoff version of the DC universe.
Hope they do better than that.
Well, so far they're doing so well. Can't take that away from them. First blood in your first game. badeMan showing again, like we saw in its first series as well, the early aggression, able to get these lanes going. And I like seeing this from the side of LGD. They've got the aggression. They've got themselves a jungler who fits that style and kind of shores up that little bit of an issue they had at the start of the split.
That was the biggest question we were really asking about inside this matchup. How was Garvey going to actually do against Natural? Wow, really well done by Garvey. Dodging out on the stun there and getting back some damage in return.
Natural, we talked about how he was the guy who was, you know, setting most things up for DMO, helping them to kind of really shore up their, you know, late game and get those games, you know, kind of what were winnable, you know, into actual wins. He's going to be tested, I think is the word, by Garvey. Young up-and-coming solo Q star, only 17 years of age, has a lot of potential within him, and it's up to LGD to make that potential worthwhile on their team.
Yeah, it seems like LGD has been grooming him for a while, which is commonplace in the LDL and LPL system. Basically brought him on as soon as he hit 17. They definitely knew his potential, ready to get him in action. But Natural is no slouch himself. Our first game he plays for DMO has a 12.5 KDA on Jax against Zoom, of all people.
And that is no easy feat.
No, he actually destroyed him. So there's a lot to look forward to in this matchup, and I don't think it's going to be as one-sided as the first gank we saw.
Like you said, it's all about where the junglers go. We actually see the Lee Sin just chose to farm out. Now has decided that maybe, nope, not going to fancy it up on the top side. Very hard to catch that Akali. Is very slippery. Still has flash available as well. No summoners were burned by either side.
This is great tracking from Xiaopeng. This is the second time that badeMan has been spotted around the top side. So at the very least, he's making sure that bot is going to continue to push. Is going to continue on that 20 CS lead. And sooner or later, that's going to snowball. Whoa, wait a minute.
Oh, Garvey coming in, forces the flash out of Natural. And I like the aggression. badeMan was around. badeMan was there to potentially just, you know, kind of catch up if the side of Natural decided to go in. And if he stays as well, Natural, he has no TP. He doesn't want to lose this wave. And badeMan knows this. They can get this pretty easy. There's the Predator proc. They're going to try to jump in on top of him straight away.
Double stun.
Oh, the flawless duet goes in, but he goes straight back into a barrel. 2 kills, LGD, but that's going to spell Infernal Drake for the side of DMO.
Yeah, not sure that second Blade Surge was needed, but great job by badeMan. That was a pretty secure gank, even with that. And at the very least, Xiaopeng will be able to get an Infernal Drake to trade back, but this Akali is going to be massive this game.
If you can get the Akali to snowball, and you can see, I think Natural plays this very, very well, just kind of overthinks it.
Yeah, I think Natural was looking for the minion kill until level 6 and to see if he could maybe get his way out. But doesn't really happen, and just goes back, doesn't hit the level 6 spark he was looking for, just dies.
See, knowing that they had topside priority and they lost the dragons, so do not have the bot side priority, it's going to be a trade of buffs. Oh, Kramer. This Ezreal is just not having a good time! You gotta be careful, those pizzas are spicy.
I gotta love me some spicy pizza. Now can Artie get away from this?
Oh, flash for flash, but unfortunately for you,
no follow,
RD,
no follow. One more Q.
Q not going to be able to land minions to the rescue, but this bot side belongs to DMO. 20 CS to the kill in favor there to GALA means that this Ezreal is just not going to be relevant for such a long time.
And that was a full minion wave denied as well. Like, they are nowhere close of getting back into this lane. I actually think it's still advantageous for DMO, even if Natural just doesn't grow up, like can't form naturally.
I see what you did there.
I didn't mean to, I'm sorry.
The best kind of puns are the ones that are unintentional. Ooh. But Natural getting jumped, getting deleted. Garvey This guy's good.
Not even close, man.
So, he's someone that obviously LGD have a good reason to sub him in as soon as he hits 17, allowed to play in the league. He's now solo killing with a near 30 CS lead, and immediately DMO realized that this lane isn't even salvageable anymore. They need to bring in the swap. Garvey does not have flash, does not have ultimate. They will get the tether down. Garvey trying to just run away, get the double on the boomerang blade. He'll use, but that's a good response there from DMO.
Yeah, it does force DMO into a proactive swap. They would much rather have Natural. Please don't die again.
Natural, though, he has not got a health bar. badeMan, right place, right time. And
Great
I feel like that's
up.
a little bit of inexperience from both top laners there, not realizing where their priorities were.
Yeah, all they needed to do was wave clear, not die, and soak up the wave, but not going to be possible. Once more, we're seeing Natural lose out on basically an entire minion wave at this point. So the deficit from Natural is actually forcing GALA to swap earlier than they really want to. They would have much preferred just to have that bot lane taken down before they swap topside to save Irelia in this matchup.
Irelia 0-4 already. We've already seen one player in the LPL just tilt off the face of the earth. Of course, it was Ning on that Elise versus WE last week. Natural, you don't want to do that again. Like, I know IG are world champions, but you don't have to copy everything they do.
It doesn't have to be a happy game every time. Because not dying sometimes is a win already. And I like this confidence from LGD. This is actually quite peculiar that they're swapping back Garvey into the Irelia lane. This is basically saying, you know what? We can stand losing our towers in the top side because that's what's going to happen in this situation. But we need to keep Garvey alive. Garvey is our new Lord and Savior. We will not swap him out into a losing lane.
Yeah, they want to keep the new golden boy going strong, keep his debut looking good.
I'm actually a little bit surprised by this move because with DMO's bot lane against LGD's bot lane, they're going to be able to take tower. They should be able to hold the Herald as well.
Next dragon is spawning in about 50 seconds, and you can see Xiaopeng already hovering around this bottom side. Some decent ward control as well, so even if he does end up kind of walking over towards it, he will be spotted out. They should not be able to take down Garvey. And Natural just needs to stem the bleeding. He needs to just graciously lose this lane as much as he possibly can at this point in time. And you know, you don't always have to carry your team. You just need to not feed the enemy laner, and that's sometimes a win.
I gotta love this lane allocation from DMO. I think this is so smart on their part. Teleport from Twila, send him to the top lane, priority in the mid lane, get there, and set up early vision for this Baron. Set up early vision for this Drake, excuse me. They came here at 25 seconds, and LGD has to walk in here blind. The cost, of course, is 2 turret platings to the top side, but I think if you already have Infernal first, it's actually quite good. That, to stack on another mountain, they're gonna have massive pressure when it comes at 20-minute mark, and they are running a rundown composition.
Trade off the early for the late. Rift Herald and turret plates definitely the instant gold, instant payoff, but at the same time, Mountain and Infernal, always good to have in the back pocket the longer this game goes, and it looks like LGD going to capitalize and give all that gold to the Ezreal. I really like this from LGD as well because they're able to kind of shore up the differences in farm and in gold that have been seen between this Sivir and this Ezreal.
Yeah, and this is, I would say this is still fine for DMO because they don't really mind having long lanes to play with just based on their comp. They're always going to have a movement speed advantage with the double teleports, with like Karma and Sivir running around the map.
The Lulu.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that they can do to catch up to people. So what they're really looking for is just playing around that 20-minute mark. Make sure you're ahead in items. I think the bot lane is for sure going to be ahead. And just try to chase people off that single wave. Like, they have a lot of potential to do that. And they're just playing the long con, waiting for that 7 minutes to pass, keep ahead, at least get Irelia some items, make sure she's slightly okay, and once it's time, they can roll with their comp.
Once we swap back to the items, I just want to show you the Ezreal. I actually really don't like this from Kramer because the Triforce, the Iceborne Gauntlet, not only is it a staple, but it stops everything that we just talked about from DMO. People running at you, the only way you can stop that is with the constant slows, and you don't have that in your arsenal. You're just sitting ducks. You have to be able to burst people down before they burst you, and I think that might be a little bit of a misstep. We'll have to wait and see, of course, as the game develops further, if that will actually hurt the side of LGD. But as of right now, that is the decision he has decided to make. And LGD, they're going to be deciding what their next move is. The Terror Plates have fallen. They have 4 kills to 2, got themselves a 2 and a bit thousand gold lead. And most of that, I imagine, is on Garvey.
I would think so as well. Bot lane actually losing out on the turret plating amount just because Kramer did find some extra gold.
So that whole Rift Herald push. And like I said, that was LGD's plan. And ooh, GALA. Gotta be careful. People, it's like an Orianna ball with Azir shoulders. You just forget they're there, and then all of a sudden he turns it on you, and you're like, oh god, I have to be so much more aware of where everything is.
This is quite interesting from Kramer. So he's actually walking in with the Triforce and playing it as more of a side lane. Playing it more as a side lane against Twila. So I guess he's just thinking, I don't need the extra armor, and I'm going to go for this one instead. But ooh, going to take a lot of damage from that.
Forcing the flash out of Kramer. No slows we talked about, but the red buff going to be there. Q lands, and you just got soloed out.
Ah, Xiaopeng with the red buff. That was fun to watch.
And that's the kind of the danger. Yes, the Triforce arguably gives you more turret pressure. It gives you more, you know, kind of assassination ability or 1v1 ability, but also means that when you get caught, you're really caught.
True. It's rare item to see that Triforce, and to be honest, I still like the Iceborne Gauntlet a little bit more.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I think you were thinking about Irelia rushing you along with Lee Sin against you. Probably the armor still makes a little bit more sense.
Well, see if that is going to be the nail in the coffin for LGD, as Kramer did fall there. 0-2, has got his Triforce in tow, but is 40 CS down and 2 kills compared to GALA. We see Garvey having a pretty decent debut so far. Got himself a solo kill, is 40 CS up, able to create pressure on his own. It's Akali, we talked about it when he was picked, has been changed to be just much more of a late game assassination, you know, kind of a character that's able to just pick someone and go, you die.
Yeah, we've seen a lot more damage added onto the Shuriken flip. The AP ratios have been increased there. And in the trade-off, it's just their survivability has been cut. You can no longer extend the Twilight Shroud by popping in and out. So if people wait around for you, they can typically find you, but you still do more damage in that short window that you are allotted. So a much more, I would say, high risk, high reward compared to earlier playstyles.
See LGD grouping up 30 seconds into this Cloud Drake. They know that DMO want to keep stacking and gives them that late game Elder Drake insurance. But they're probably feeling that they're going to lose far too much CS, too much pressure. Comes back in to the mid lane. Lulu back up to the top. Still have yet to see Twila use that TP aggressively. Still yet to see a wild growth either.
Yeah, I have to say that this game looks like it's going to be decided by the first Baron take coming in from DMO. You can see them setting up for it already. The problem for DMO's comp is that they need to catch people with number superiority. They are trying to use their mobility to set up that scenario, but they don't have winning pushing lanes. That's a big problem for them. Garvey is so far ahead of Irelia, it's going to create a lot of pressure. So DMO are basically looking for that Baron sneak opportunity where they can maximize on their mobility advantage. And they're willing to give up Drakes for this. They're willing to give up farm for it. All they need is that one big team fight to happen in the around the Baron pit.
You see the pressure on top side. They give up the Cloud Drake, not the most important or influential of Drakes in the game. They trade that for instant money as of right now. And we see the Predator pop by badeMan as they're going to try and trade an inner for an outer. But Mark is here.
It's a good collapse.
Good collapse indeed. Gets a nice mantrad Q. They protect the tower, and that's all kind of what they wanted. But if you look at the minimap as well, you can see Garvey just trying to hover between the fog of war, maybe threaten that he's going to potentially show up mid.
Yeah, but it was actually really well warded by Natural as well. I like how he's covered his deficits, at least getting a control ward and then another yellow on all the paths that Garvey could be heading toward. So well done on both sides. I understand why DMO is actually sacrificing a lot of mid HP, sacrificing the Jake just to set up this one play. They are under a lot of pressure, and in the draft we talked about this as well. DMO, they don't have the best of engages necessarily. They can't really force someone out of a tower siege or find it that easy to get kills if it's a jungle, if it's just a jungle fight. What they really need to do is just bait people into river and then run them down from there. So that's why they're prioritizing that topside vision so much.
Fortunately, they did have to go back, pick up some more items, and Garvey just trying to steal as much as he physically can. Good idea, probably not to go super hard on that Raptor.
No.
But he's capitalizing. And similar to the last game, we're going to see both these teams just kind of farming up, trying to get towards that team fight strength, and it can be a bit boring if we go in towards this meta with the Sivir, the Azirs, the Corkis all in tow as such.
Just sit tight, couple more minutes. It's just going to be that one big fight. Like, what they need to do from DMO side, there's a couple ways they can play it, but something that's quite viable is actually just send Xiaopeng to the bot side and see if they can sneak an early kill onto Garvey. At this point, you can see Garvey backing up very far. He no longer has vision of the red side, and he's actually playing this quite safe. I like this from rookies. Usually, split pushing for top laners is the hardest aspect to master.
Requires full setup and commitment from everyone on your team to be able to set it up, because it's not just split pushing, it's split pushing with safety. As you can see, the defensive vision on the bot side jungle for DMO as they try to just re-evaluate where they wanted this game to go. It's only about a 2,000 gold lead that hasn't gone anywhere as we hit the 20-minute mark. Finally a Triforce for Natural. He finds himself a free lane up top side. And we see kind of a couple of half items for the Lee Sin as well. Xiaopeng just able to kind of keep himself healthy and sustained. Actually, very interesting. Going full tank Gragas for badeMan, something we don't normally see anymore.
Yeah, very rare. This is basically creating space for Kramer. It's like, you know what? I'm going to stay alive longer just so Kramer, you can feel safe dealing damage. Haven't seen this one in a very long time. It's all been runic echoes over and over again.
Yeah, with the Morello Namacon into the Zonias, but you know, never went away. badeMan, of course, knows the Gragas still has the Drunken Rage, which gives him a nice bit of resistances. You see most of both teams hovering towards this mid lane. Both sides want to try and break down this turret, but Garvey finds two people. Needs to be careful, but the rest of his team is following in tow. Predator has been popped. They're going to try and get the Lee Sin out. He's the one following away. Flash body slam does not hit. Great
Dragon
kick
Rage.
as they try and go back in on top of this. badeMan does not have the damage. Still has the explosive cast, but a lot of flashes burned, nothing gained by either side.
That fight was insanely risky from LGD. I don't think that against DMO's composition, that's always going to be a great move. DMO is actually a lot faster on the map compared to like a Azir.
Here we go. DMO going to try and go and make this work. The Azir wall comes out just to try and push Natural away. He may be kept down, but he is not out. TP going to be channeled here by the Akali. They get that out. Couple of ultimates burned as well. DMO arguably coming out on top if they can take this mid lane fight.
Yeah, I love that decision-making from DMO. They realized that LGD probably overstepped themselves in terms of trying to drag Sivir and Karma around the map. That was kind of a weird move. So DMO found their chances to go in, but unfortunately not enough of a lockdown. And this is what I was talking about LGD's comp and why they're so hard to fight 5v5. They just have so much counter initiation.
Oh, here we go. LGD do not want this dragon to go down without a fight. DMO really want to stack those mountains. They could take that dragon or Baron so quickly, but you've got to be aware of the poke. Q does not land. Everyone else on the side of LGD is too healthy. They've got to back away. I like the force from LGD, and they can run straight towards Baron.
There's two people that need to go back on DMO's side, and look at the teleports. GALA's is only half done, and they're going to have to walk around this distance. LGD have a great chance to ambush.
Natural does get himself a ward down, though, so They know straight away it's not being done as of right now. Gives them a little bit of safety, but LGD kind of coming into their own, really starting to feel the rhythm of this particular team comp, and I like the aggression that came out from TPing back into that dragon fight. They knew they could win it.
Yeah, very strong ideas from LGD, and Garvey right now is just playing like a madman. You see him going into enemy compositions like 1v2. I'm just going to scare them off with my boldness.
Yeah, and hey,
really
it's working. It's working. He's got himself a stopwatch, going to be able to turn that into a Zhonya's pretty quickly as well with that Seeker's Arm Guard stacking up. And overall, LGD, it's a very close game, but the longer it goes on, the more I'm starting to favor them. They seem to be the one dictating the pace. They're the ones pushing the right buttons at the right time.
Yeah, once DMO's comp ran out of steam with their bot lane advantage, I felt like they had so few outs in the game, and this is completely unspotted. DMO still don't have vision. There we go. But now they have to walk in through a Braum choke.
Look at Garvey. Garvey is just sitting around in the fog of war. Everyone gets hit by that true shot barrage. Garvey and RD just trying to wrap around. Good pink ward to keep DMO safe. Natural has rotated up as well, so they can try and look for a mid lane push. Flawless Duet does land onto Yuuki, but it's not what they want to go for right now. Garvey looking to see if he can get that flank. There's some good vision control set up by DMO. You can see LGD just want to try and kill off that pink ward. They will get it, and now they go straight back to the Baron.
This is a great force coming in from LGD. They're going to have to walk through some of these chokes, and Garvey should be able to find the angle. I'm pretty sure Garvey's already on the bottom side.
It's going to try and wrap. Q lands. As they just throw in, they know DMO playing this so carefully. I like the response from DMO as I say that. Here goes Garvey. He wants to go straight away. Explosive cast going to knock back DMO. Flawless Duet lands on top of Garvey, but he is into the Shroud. There, they lose pressure now. They don't have the Baron. They're probably going to lose this turret.
It's a lot of patience from DMO to actually pull this one out. Constantly calling the bluffs, but so risky on their end. The only problem with LGD on that Baron force was their main initiation coming in from badeMan was also the jungler, so they couldn't really force DMO with an initiation while still pretending to take the dragon at the same time. They could only pick one or the other, and DMO were patient enough to call the bluff.
Patience and also a little bit bold. You saw, Mark walking up fearless, knowing that he was like almost making the exact call, saying, I know you're going on the Baron right now, so I can push forward, move forward, force you to second guess yourself. And right now we're looking at a 3-item Sivir, a 2-item, Irelia coming on very, very soon. This is the type of, game where all of a sudden it doesn't matter how well Garvey did in the early game, because when all item slots are filled, it's a straight mechanics fight.
Yeah, and look at Natural, how well he has caught up. 0-4-0, but only down 1,300 gold at this point. He's been using the timing very, very well to get himself farmed up. And LGD can't really take another risk like that. I feel like if they want to do a Baron, they should just full commit and turn around for the fight. In a straight 5v5, I would heavily favor their composition. They have a great amount of divers and a backline that can't really be touched once Sivir is bogged down with dodging abilities from Akali and Gragas.
I think the big thing for LGD right now is that they don't want to get caught out by the Lulu, the Karma poke, the the Sivir boomerang blades that can catch them in that pit. They could take a lot of poke damage before the fight even begins. And you have to have your Gragas badeMan in that pit as much as possible, because he's got to be the one tanking up the Baron. He's the only one with kind of sustain as such.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I feel like they could start and just full commit on Baron for a while, and then have badeMan take it so nobody takes that much damage, and you turn around for the full fight. If that happens, I still think LGD would handily win it.
Well, they might not win the fight, but they do win the side lanes. So that's going to be a 1-tower lead, actually equalizing the towers. I forgot the top side had completely been eviscerated by DMO. The Azir turret in mid lane is taken down. Now, where is the potential fight coming in? Ezreal looking like he wants to go for that Mountain Drake, but DMO, are they in a position to really, contest the Baron now as well?
DMO are rushing.
They're going to try and rush it. Mountain Drake goes down, so LGD with double Mountain, they can now potentially burn that Mountain down, or that Baron down, incredibly fast. And maybe they look for the fight. There goes Garvey as he jumps in on the backside. They're going to get the kick, and he's not good enough. Zhonya's comes in. The redemption going to be used to try and keep him alive. He has to use the execution to try and get himself out. badeMan, the tank, has gone down. Another fight can come in. We talked about this at the start of the game. You want to be chasing down. They want to be pushing you back. There's so many blinking health bars. Flash, flash, flash. LGD on full retreat. And that's almost certainly going to spell the Baron. Kramer has got a lot of damage. He's got a lot of sustain. Can he do anything onto this fight?
And GALA still finds the last kill onto RD. It's a 3-man defense from LGD's side. And it doesn't even look like they can make it. Garvey still has teleport, though.
They have teleport, but it's too little, too late. It's going to be DMO picking that one up. Yuuki comes in. Garvey comes in the backside. Do they look for exit kills? Have you got an exit strategy?
There's no ult from Garvey yet. I really can't see how they're going to chase all of this down.
We've seen this so many times where DMO don't get it. That's a good delay there. Kramer just trying to stop everybody's crowd. Pop down, so now Garvey just trying to keep everyone interested, keep them alive. But there's so much damage to the Sivir, and the Sivir goes in and gets the double. 3 more kills. The Baron. DMO coming up huge.
Oh my god, and GALA survived on 200 HP. He finished off the ace that he started himself, and that was such a massive throw from LGD. They had the inner track onto the tower, but I don't think Garvey should have hard forced himself into the choke. His teammates couldn't follow up. It was a great flawless duet coming in from Natural to close off the corridor. And DMO, they find the comeback. They've been sitting behind for this game for almost 5 minutes at that point. Let's watch this play. This is one step too far forward that Garvey really shouldn't have taken here. It was a cutoff that wanted LGD to focus the bottom side, but instead Garvey went in for the top side into the corridor, and that was a straight chase down. Great Lulu utility coming in, and you can just see the ricochets going in. RD flashing, but still being hit up. Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
The deadliest slice of pizza in history.
And then we see they just try hard force this one, and we almost saw this. I think Rogue Warriors did something incredibly similar against DMO in Game 1 last week, where they forced them after the Baron up towards that top side. This time, though, DMO, they learn from their mistakes, and then they come out absolutely huge now. You've got 2 items on your Irelia. You've got 4 items onto your Sivir. They can start cracking open the base. They don't have any wave clear on the side of LGD.
Yeah, they have to find a flank, they have to find an engage, or DMO is just going to pull through their... Okay, there's their engage.
There it is, like a ragdoll. You see the Irelia just getting taken down.
Force.
As we say that, though, Yuuki taking a lot of damage. They're going to try and knock him back. There's 2 kills. The Sivir is dead, but not before they take down the Azir, and now the rest of the fight can come in. Lee Sin just able to keep himself so much. Kramer and Garvey just able to push up, push back. It's a quadra kill for Kramer, and he's thirsty for that penta. He's going to try and go for it, but that Lulu's fast. You have no way of slowing her down. It's just going to be the quadra. LGD by back.
Whew. What a close game this has become. Unfortunate positioning from Natural. Rookie mistake, walking too close to the base gates. And LGD find their perfect engage. It was also a great knockback to get GALA into the roster. I'm not even sure what actually took him that far into LGD's clutches. The explosive cast wasn't even used, but GALA uses stopwatch and finds himself amongst 4 LGD members. Now watching this again, this is still a very strong position for DMO, but let's watch Natural as he takes a very unfortunate turn.
Just lazy. Just a lazy pathing, unfortunately.
And what? Oh, GALA actually walked himself into that. What, GALA? No! Bad decision, GALA! I was thinking, how did he get there? Because the explosive cast and Emperor's Divide were already used. He just walks himself in, and Kramer's like, thank you very much. I'm going to pick up the free quad.
That was unfortunate, to say the least. But DMO got what they wanted. The mid lane has been cracked open. They still have a pretty strong stance in this game, but the wave clear now finally at a point where Kramer is starting to really hurt with this build. Got himself the double lifesteal with the Blade of the Ruined King and the Bloodthirster. And I like this transition from LGD. Garvey was the early game carry, gives us the advantage. Mid game, we kind of move it more towards badeMan and getting him going. And in the late game, it's all about Kramer and Yuuki. that is a good way to kind of set yourself up. Infernal Drake is available. 6 Drakes this game. 2 for LGD in terms of Mountains, 2 Infernals for DMO.
Man, you say DMO got what they want, but I felt like Kramer got what he wanted as well. We've seen this build before. It's the triple lifesteal build on the Ezreal, where you can just see him going straight into the enemy composition and somehow surviving through all of it. Remember, there's only one major damage source on DMO. It's going to be that Sivir. And if that Sivir can't win the trade against Kramer, then LGD also have a lot more firepower to back it up. So I actually really like where this is going for LGD. I want to see Kramer and his crazy antics, and I know what he has in store for us.
I have an idea for GALA, though. Don't walk into the enemy team. Because they kind of almost like looked at him as well, because they were backing away, and they kind of went, well, hang on a second, you're alone. You're by yourself. You shouldn't be here.
GALA really missed out on the communication with his team members. He felt like the team was going to follow up, but then Artie had a really good Glacial Fissure across the base gates.
Yeah, Artie able to zone out the rest of the team, and Baron up in 30 seconds. That is a very dark jungle for LGD. You see a couple of backs coming in as they start to refresh the wards, refresh the bank of how much vision you can put in. Elder will be spawning in 3.5 minutes, so Baron is the most contestable buff. 61.7 versus 61.1. The gold might as well be even. It's Mountains versus Infernals. Who can carry harder?
Ooh, LGD can take this one super fast. DMO need to instantly get here.
But do they lose the game if they go for it? That's the kind of question they got to ask themselves. What do you trade for that Baron? It's all well and good getting it, but what do you lose because of it? Wow. Garvey needs to be so careful. That's the Shroud down. We'll have access to it in about 12 seconds.
Really good ricochet damage through the minion wave. Garvey does have the Gunblade, though, so he will be able to heal up.
Yeah, and the Baron has been started. It's so quick to go down to about 4,000, 3,000, 2,001. It's going to be the not Steel coming in, but Garvey is dead. And now the fight ensues. Sivir is wrecking on this backside. Sivir gets a double. Sivir gets a triple. Sivir could look for what Kramer couldn't do. LGD get the Baron, but what do they lose because of it? The ricochets are coming in. The red buff is procced. He can keep going. He's got the push.
Speed buff on GALA.
They're going to keep pushing him. As you said, it's the push. But they're not able to find any more. But DMO, they come out of the fight 3 for 1.
Yeah, the question is now, how much can DMO actually take off of this? And it doesn't look like much. Actually, they're going for the top lane minion wave, and that should be enough time for Yuuki to come back and at least defend the inhibitor. So a successful play by LGD, but it was so damn risky.
They get the Baron, but like I said, what do you risk losing because of it? It looks like another inhibitor tower is going to fall. Yuuki not quite up just yet. Yes, you gain the Baron, but you can't use it. You've lost it on so many members. And
One is enough. One is enough.
I gotta love, the DMO response to this as well, of just being able to kind of push everyone back in, saying we can take the fight. 9-1 and 3, Sivir full build, sells her GA, rebuys the GA. And comes back in, but we talked about how quick that Baron can go down.
That was actually super risky. It was good on Artie's part to stop Xiaopeng mid-air. He doesn't get into the pit in time, but look at GALA. His damage is enough to clear out the entire side. Actually, he deals damage so fast that Garvey didn't even have time to press his Zanyas. He just went down before realizing it.
We haven't seen Garvey pick up a kill in a very, very long time. When 2-0-1 in lane, now 2-3 and 3. Equal on CS. This Irelia arguably is a far better tool for the side of DMO than this Akali is for LGD, because the Irelia is just creating such a great zone.
Yeah, this Irelia is helping with the chase down on GALA. Like, GALA is being untouched here. They have to cleanse the slow before they can use most of their abilities to find the Sivir. And after that, there's still a Twila to go through. So it does seem like LGD right now, what they can hope to win the fight is actually just trading away the front lines. They do have a better front line in that sense, but they do have to have the correct teamfight positioning for that one to actually happen. DMO had a very good catch in the Baron fight where they were just going like, we have the speed buff, we're going to go straight for the carries.
Yes, teleport advantages At the moment, it's 3 teleports for LGD, 2 for DMO, but DMO should get Galas up very, very soon. Elder Drake just about to spawn. You got to imagine that's going to be the net point of contention. Both teams with 3 Drakes. That's going to be a very powerful buff for either side. It's all about who can take the fight, and immediately we see DMO. They've got the side waves in pressure. They have all the vision they want, and they're going to be able to take this one uncontested.
LGD, no! Not close, not close.
It's always a bit of a heart racer one for the jungler, though. When you see a global ability in, they're like, no, you've got smite, we're fine. And you're like, oh, God. Please don't mess this up. And now DMO, Baron only got about 20 seconds left. You've only got 2 people with it. They can look to push in, take down these inhibitors once again, and look to maybe start to end the game. Yeah,
this should be 2 inhibitors for DMO. They effectively have a triple Infernal Drake on themselves right now, even more with the true damage burn that Ricochet is going to be applying to the entire team. So I feel like DMO right now, they should just take 2 uncontested inhibitors and just play the game out from there.
Looks like they're happy enough waiting. I think this is going to go to another Baron. Both teams kind of need it because they've got a lot of wave clear on both sides. Sivir on the side of DMO, but you've also got the Azir on the side of LGD. It's very difficult to crack open this base, and you don't want to overstep your marks. Yes, you take the Elder, but I think it's more just a delay tactic until the Baron buff comes back.
Just wanted to get the last back in. Full item Sivir. You really want to put the icing on the cake.
He's been full items for a long time.
Yeah, that's true, though.
He's literally...
Probably full item on someone else.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually see the GA being sold and the Bloodthirster picked up. I like this adaptation because he realizes that he has so much shielding. If he dies, he's just dead. There's no way he comes back that he has any way of escaping this. Whereas if you have his Ezreal, who has, of course, got the GA, will be able to Arcane Shift back if he has that cooldown. First one goes down, flash in from badeMan, does get the explosive cast, but Irelia jumps in now with the Vanguard's edge, tries to come in, and Azir wall whiffs, and badeMan goes down. Garvey was off to the side, but not able to do anything. Now DMO have the inside track. Do they look for the end?
It looks like they will be going for it. LGD did not find the target they needed with that explosive cask, and now it's the last defense.
They have so much shields, it's almost like half a health bar there for the side of GALA as the final fight's going to have to come in. The Nexus turrets have fallen, the Nexus in the sight of DMO as this Irelia finally comes online. DMO take game 1.
They don't even lose a member in that last one. Strong finish. That was a Baron play that LGD came out ahead on, but they completely dropped the defense on the Elder Dragon. There was no words around that area. They took the long route around, too safe of a route, I might add. And DMO, with that single objective, are just able to clean up the rest of the game. I feel like LGD could have exerted more pressure on the back end of that.
LGD, you can see it was a game of the AD carries. You talked about it, Kramer going with that Triforce build did a fantastic amount of damage, but when you do 50,000 damage, you add up everyone else on your team and they don't even equal your amount of damage. That was the GALA show.
Damn, we've almost forgotten how ridiculous that build is between Lulu and Sivir. You don't see it with any other team.
Lulu, Sivir, Karma. He literally had, I think it was about 1,200 shielding every 3 seconds.
Yeah, and there was every shielding item that you could possibly want right there. There was the Redemption being done, Athene's was already there, and you also had like the
Ardent Sensor.
Yes, the
like
Ardent
able
Sensor.
And honestly, I think that just shows, like, I suppose, like, we can kind of bring this down. Like, you got the early lead for Garvey. You got the, you know, the advantages in that top side. But then after that, there was just this mad stall. And when you're against a Sivir, stalling's never good.
I felt like LGD actually just, they were so close in closing out the game in the middle part. Where Irelia was still a non-factor, and they started to get positioning over the Baron pit. It was just unfortunate that a couple of their engages didn't really work out that time, and slowly DMO were able to use their patented, I'm just going to run zigzag across the map to take away your side lane strategy to then wrestle back the map. Because throughout the early mid-game, Garvey had full control of that wave. It wasn't even close. Irelia started 0-4-0. That was a bad start from natural. So I felt like they could have choked out the mid-game from that, but it was just after, like, the two big transitions for me was that not being able to close out on the Baron play in the mid-game, and then just kind of forfeiting the Elder Dragon. That
Yeah.
one was a bit of a head scratcher where they still had positioning, where they still had the. Still think they had the chops to fight that one. Like,
I agree. I think
Azir
they had the
and Ezreal
teleports. They
full
could have
item as well.
reacted. I think they just, kind of got into their own heads. They kind of, Garvey was looking for those flanks at all times. But then when they realized how far he had gone away from his team, it was like, oh, cool, this is a 4v5 because it's going to take you about 4 seconds to get to us. It's that level of kind of, playing that, DMO just capitalized on. And again, the Sivir, I love the idea of just swapping out to the Bloodthirster because it's just shield upon Lulu shield upon...
You're not going to die anyway.
You're just not going to die. And if you do, you're only probably just walking into the enemy team. That was like the one mistake that GALA made.
You're the solo carry. If you die, the game's over anyway. So it's fine. Just go for the Bloodthirster. That was a great idea from them. And it really does showcase kind of the DMO strategy. This is a very unique thing from them. Twila is the only person to play Lulu. Not even Doinby touches that. It was old. It's an old love. But
not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
We have to wait. Maybe he watches this and
he's
he's just like, oh, maybe I can make this work for me.
But this is actually a really exciting series to show up because Garvey has thrown up a lot of extra things that we thought wouldn't exist. My personal ideas on the series, it was that it was going to be Natural dominating the top lane and then Yuuki dominating the mid lane. And then it would come down to, who could snowball a little bit more. And
it was almost like mid lane, nothing happened.
Yes.
Top lane snowballed, but then DMO stalled.
Yeah. So it seems to be shifted a little bit more where LGD still have very strong solo lanes. Like the solo lanes are overall still going to dominate.
Yeah.
And it's just going to come down to some of the mid-game decision-making, some of the mid-game shot calling from DMO to kind of erase that.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see now if LGD can bounce back in this best-of-3 series. We're going to go to a quick break, but when we return, we'll have Game 2 for you guys. Don't go anywhere.
Focusing all of their damage onto Uzi, so
careful, the supreme display of talent gets 4! That's why I said be careful! Requiem's gonna come out, but they're already a man down, the damage is not there. Asura ults in immediately, but the Sanguine pull into the Hemo Plague. Asura has to run for his life as Lungchick flashes on top. The rest of RNG takes them in 5, and they run to their death.
Alright, see. Fight's coming through.
Chain of Corruption, a lot of damage, but there is the Kiana ultimate, and he blows off Varus. He was done his job. The Rumble ultimate comes down, but there are so many low health bars right now. They're going to be able to get down the ultimate as well. Death round there onto Pose as he just try and go for it. There's your interaction. It does not do anything to the rest of the team, but Mystic is still alive. Mystic could potentially turn this around if he's able to get the time onto this backline. Good Flame Spitter into the Zhonya's. Mystic trying his best. He can potentially look for something here. He's just trying to try and keep hiding it out. He's dodging everything. Will he be able to get one? He gets one, but not another. That was so damn close. Mystic valiantly goes down, but it ends up being the ace in favor of BLG.
With EDG, the simpler execution method as you mentioned there before. That's what we need to see. EDG and now unified. Doomie is spotted, but they send the ulti while Doomie keeps them busy. In the unified composition, Junior comes in with a flank. They pull him back. They turn back around. FDX have the health bar to play around with. Junior gets ignited around. Gibbon over the wall. Onto Iboy. Cully comes out. Steps from below. Scout is jumping left to right center. Onto Doomie. He presses W while LWX over the wall. The Lucian wins. How does Lucian win late game? FBX have done it. This game is bonkers as Ivo runs back in. Sit down, milady.
FPX match relatively soon, and they only lost 2 turret plating for it.
Oh, and Mako's caught out under Tara. Culling is available from LWX. They turn. The arrow lands on the top of Chris. Death from below. Doesn't land himself. Good flash here from Chris. He sends out the skewer. He gets the flash. Mako flashes into him, but Chris doesn't matter. Does not matter, that was sick. LNG may have fought back in this game, but the disengage necessary.
How did they get home though?
How indeed. Ming cutting them off. LNG caught through the river. They're going to try and back. Clement asks me again. Carson with the flag and drag, the ulti, the turnaround. Cannon Barrage doesn't hit anyone. RNG are the ones getting low. LNG have to interact. Show her again! Pop Blossom! Down with the Cataclysm. The sickness over to LNG. RNG dangerously low and Plex needs the carry, but can he 1v4? This is the struggle right now as LNG lose everyone. They jump onto Plex. RNG poke away.